All right, guys, we did through question 8 or 9, I think. Is anybody close to 8 or 9 on their review packet number 1? Okay. Review packet number 1 is the one that is exactly like the SLO except in different order. Okay. So that's what we're taking the next 2 days. Review packet number 2 has more practice on some of those same concepts. Okay. But it also has all the concepts that are on the second. So my suggestion would be have both review packets done, but I'm going with whatever you asked me to do today. I can start with number 10 and keep going, or we can do whatever you want. Okay. Number 10 says, why did that not go? Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Okay. Number 10 says state the number of possible real zeros and turning points. Should be the easiest question ever, right? Degree 4, so number of possible zeros and number of possible turning points. Okay. We remember this? Okay. Number 11, find the factored form and all the real zeros. What can we do first? Did I do that right? We have an x squared, an x minus 5, and an x plus 1. Okay, so the zeros are at 0. Multiplicity 2, it doesn't say you have to do that on this question, so you don't have to do it on this question, but I'm trying to review, so I'll throw it up there. And there's also a 0 at 5 and negative 1. You don't have to write these as ordered pairs. If you want to, great, but you don't have to. Everybody okay? You got to tell me if you got questions, otherwise I'm just going to keep speeding through today. It says this is a negative 8 by 8 window. In other words, all these little tick marks are 1. We don't know what the Y scale is, so this could be counting by hundreds, 50s. We don't know what these tick marks are. There are zeros at negative 5, 0, and 2. Does that seem right? Multiplicity 2 at negative 5 because graph bounces off x-axis. Doesn't cross. Good. Something like that. Reminder, on tomorrow's and Friday's tests, if it says explanation or explain or why, it's worth points. If you leave it blank, you're going to lose points, okay? Yes. Yeah. It can be pretty straightforward. You don't have to write, complete sentence, paragraph, anything. All right. We're going to start by finding the generic form here. There is some stretch, but I also know that there's zeros, what? Or factors that look like x plus 5 quantity squared. It's so easy to forget that squared after you just wrote it down. And it's easy to forget the x because it has an x minus 0, and you can put x minus 0 for makes you feel better, but it's just an x, right? And x minus 2. We good? Okay, then do you remember how to find k now? You have this ordered pair up here, negative 2, negative 288. So y is negative 288 when x is negative 2. Okay, so we'd have negative 288 equals k times, that would be 3 squared is 9. Does that seem right? This will be negative 4, and this will be negative 2, 8. Anybody getting 72 on that side? Negative 288 divided by 72 is negative 4. Is that right or not? So k is negative 4, and our final answer is negative 4 times x plus 5, quantity squared. There's an x. You could have put that out front here. Negative 4x and x minus 2. There's other ways you could write that. You could leave that factor. X minus 0 would be fine with me. Questions? Could you type this back in and try to figure out if it's right if you have time? The thing is, we don't know what this window is, okay? So you may have to, try negative 2,000 to 1,500 to get it to look exactly like this. I don't know. Any questions? For x. But it says the y window is unknown. Yep. All right. List all possible candidates for rational roots. I am just going to slap everybody who gets this wrong. We feel like we put it on every quiz. It's plus or, and I just had somebody from 4th period come up and say, I have no idea how to do this. All the factors of what? 4 over all the factors of, okay? So can you make that into a list for me? We can handle this, yes? Okay, number 14. Use a graph. That's your hint, guys, to confirm which of the following, which of the above, and it says number 8. That's because we didn't change it. So if I graph this, can anybody find one of the zeros for me? 1, 2. Does it say 3x cubed? Is that what it says up there underneath my scribble? Okay, can you do a trace and see if it works? Okay. Yeah, I have a horrible window for this question. Okay. No, they just said Zoom 6. Okay, so trace, what did I do? Because it don't look like 2 works on mine. 3x cubed plus x squared minus 12x. Oh, it's supposed to be minus 4. I have plus 4. All right, so 2 works. Okay, let's just start with 2. It says explanation of how you confirmed, so successive synthetic divisions would be really good words to write down there. 3, 1, negative 12, negative 4, 3, bring down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, it should come out 0. Then this should factor, because it's a quadratic, right? Could we just factor? This is 3x squared plus 7x plus 2. 3x, x, 2, and 1 is 6 and 1. Okay, I don't care how you do it. You can keep doing synthetic division, but what's the big thing you gotta remember at the end? Anybody know? Yes, the leading coefficient has to be right. If we factored it this way, we have the 3 in there, right? That's the leading coefficient. But if we had gone ahead and kept dividing, let me go back here. Was it 3, 7? Okay. And we said -2 works as well. Okay. If we kept going, bring down, multiply, add, multiply, add. We're still down. You should write this as 3x minus 1, right? That's a factor. 3x plus 1. Thank you. Okay. So hopefully you won't lose the leading coefficient. Explanation used graph and successive synthetic division to confirm roots. And what was the confirmation? How did I know it worked? The remainder was 0, right? Oh, we're supposed to write the roots up here. -1/3, -2, and +2, right? Yes, please. Yes. When we had ones that came out at the end, like 3x squared minus 3 equals 0, and then we took out the 3 and we got this as 2 of the zeros, then sometimes we forgot to put the 3 back out front, or we even had some that had like this, and then we got plus or minus I as our answer at the end, and so just got to be careful. All you got to check is if you were to FOIL this back together, which you could take time to do, it should go back to this, okay? But it should have the right leading coefficient. Yes, we didn't lose. It would be very hard to lose the leading coefficient on this one. All right. It says vertical asymptotes. How do you find vertical asymptotes? You do get a reference sheet that has the same thing as your yellow half sheet. The denominator equals 0. So if we factor this denominator, we'll have x plus 1, x minus 1. So vertical asymptotes are at? Please notice it says equations. If all you write is 1 and -1, it's not good. Will not get full credit. And it may or may not have partial credit. Like I said, the grading rubric is all set up ahead of time. All right, this one says use appropriate rules of end behavior for this rational function and explain. Okay, so your explanation is that this equation is what? Yes. This function is top heavy. So I need to find what? I need to divide to find end behavior. Yes? Okay. I'm not thinking the top is going to factor, so I'm not thinking we have to worry about like a whole or anything. I think with just dividing out. Okay, we have -3 from the divisor. Everybody good? That's the 0 in the denominator. What do we have to be careful about, though? Yeah, we have a 0x in here. And what's the other thing we have to remember to do that some of you keep doing wrong? Yes, you get to ignore the remainder when you do end behavior, okay? So whatever this is, it's not going to matter. So drop down, multiply, add, multiply, add. Did anybody else get that? 4x squared minus 15x plus 45. Could you do this one by long division if you wanted? Or if you wanted to prove to yourself that you did it right or something, I suppose. Okay, we good? But ignore remainder on this one. Do not write plus something over something. All right, guys. This should be the easiest question ever. You can graph it on your calculator if you want, but do I already know the zeros? Yeah. -5 and +1/2. Okay. If I graph it, what shape should it be? If I fold it back together? It's a parabola that's opening which way? Up, so it's got to look like this. So what is this asking? Yes. We did things like we looked at the sign, the table to find the signs. But does that make sense? It's above 0 here, below 0 here, above 0 here. Okay, so how do we write an interval for where it's greater than or equal to 0? We okay? What? I know. I just wanted to write big. She told me. All right, guys, we're on 18. We just did 17. I don't know what's on the slide. What do you want to do first? Yeah, please divide by 5 first. And then, really? What is this asking? Yeah. I think it's not as big as I think it is. 2 to the... Is it? You should have got the same answer, but yeah. Always use your Algebra 1 brain first. Okay. Somebody's going to knock the logs out of here, and I'm going to knock them on their head. You can condense, and this is a minus, so how does this condense? Okay. Now, we only have one log, so we can't get rid of it. We have to exponentiate or rewrite 5 to the second power equals x over 6. $150 maybe? Oh. It does say explanation. Rewrote using properties of logs and exponentiated. Something like that. Property logs, rearrange. I feel like we've seen this question on every quiz. Might be because it was going to be on this, right? What does ln mean? E, so if we exponentiate, we get e to the y equals x minus d, so we get x equals plus d. All right, this problem should look vaguely familiar as well. Okay, it's interesting because I made this question hard for you guys. This is way easier than what we did on all the tests and quizzes because it says every hour, every 1 hour. So it's just 47 were placed in a dish. They are doubling every hour. That's it. And we want it to reach 17,500. Okay, what do we have to do first? Okay, so we have 17,500 over 47. I'm just going to leave it. And then we're going to do what? log both sides, and move the t out front. So we will end up typing the log of 17,500 over 47 divided by the log of 2, and you got to type the log twice. There's no shortcut, right? Anybody getting a decimal? What'd you get, Isaac? 1, 2, 3, 6. Oh, I think we're going to have to multiply that to 8 points, or round that to 8.6. Because if we just use let's just go back. It's easy to type this one in because there's no divisor. If you do to the 8.5, is it going to be over this? I don't think so. Yeah, it's short, so we have to round this to 8.6. Okay. So that it actually goes over, and then it's over by how much? How much? Really? Okay. All right. Sounds good. Got it? I feel like I've done that question 100 times. So. All right, exponential regression. Stat, enter, pick the right one. Yes? I do need to talk about this because on the last quiz, I got some curious stuff. I got this. Is that what it says to do? Well, but if we put the that's not what I'm saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is? Go to 6. All right. I'm not going to put all these in. I'm going to assume you guys can put them in. Actually, I'm just going to put something close in. What's 6 say, guys? All right. So mine aren't going to be right. But when I go stat, right arrow, I'm supposed to be picking exponential, which is this number 0, right? Okay. And we really should store it. I'm sure I will take either answer. Okay. But it says right clearly at the top up here, doesn't it? Guys, doesn't it say right here that you're to write a times b to the x? So whatever your a is, what did you guys get? Because you did it right. It says nearest thousandth right here. Maybe we should practice this. And what's b? Okay, so that's what it should look like. Thank you. What? Yes, yes. And then you can put in, let's see, this was years since 2010, right? So we would put in x equals 10. Okay, can I just go on? Okay. Oh, this didn't go well for a few of you, and it made me sad. Actually, it wasn't this class so much. One of the classes averaged 3 out of 5 on this. Not even 3 point something. It was like 3.0. That's a 60%. It's tricky. 3 times as many cupcakes. Okay, if X is number of cupcakes and Y is number of cookies, $3 a cupcake plus $2 a cookie was $44. But 3 times as many cupcakes as cookies. So that means the cupcakes is 3 times the cookies. Do you get that? There's more. I just have to say to myself, there's more of the cupcakes. So that means I'm multiplying the cookies by 3. Then if I do substitution, I get 11y equals 44, y equals 4, x equals 12. She sold 12 cupcakes and 4 cookies. Questions? Matrix multiplication. 4 by 5, 5 by 1. Yes, answer is 4 by 1. Use substitution. If, guys, just a hint on this question. Yes, I'm with Ian. I would much rather substitute something in for the x because it doesn't have a coefficient. Do you see that? So make x equals 6 plus y and then plug it in here. So we'll have 6 plus y or y plus 6 squared plus 2y squared equals 27. This is not 36 plus y squared. Should I show the meme again? I feel like I need to spend like the first day of pre-calc just doing that. All right, I have 3y squared plus 12y plus 9 equals 0. Anybody? Okay. We could take out a 3, y squared plus 4y plus 3 factors y plus 3, y plus 1. The 3 out front is not a 0, so we have y values of -3 and -1. Yeah, some of you messed this up, or some pre-calc students in general messed this up because they put it in for x or something. We found y first. I know it's kind of weird. Then you got to find 6 plus y to get the x. I think that's what I got. Somebody got that? Did someone get these answers, Flirta? Did I get them right? 3, -3, and 5, -1? No? Okay. All right. Guys, it's addition. Okay. To an Army base, this was a delivered shipment. So this is their initial inventory. They were received a delivery, so you just add them. Everybody's good with how to add them? Okay. Well, a few people multiplied and a few people subtracted. All right. Okay. If you were like shipping something out, then your inventory, not on here, no. Okay, guys, scalar, if it's an additional 12%, 1.12, what should you round to? Because I think that might be worth points this time. It's pricing, yes? And these were to the nearest penny. So you should round to the nearest penny or hundredth. Everybody good? Can I skip it? I don't even bother to put it in a matrix. I do 3.28 times 1.12 and write it down. But you can put it in a matrix. I'm just too lazy. Create a matrix. Do not reduced row echelon form this thing. Just write it down. Could be. Everybody know what I'm talking about? Just write 1, -5, -1, 2, -11, etc. Okay. What goes in here? No, here, because this is where X, Y, Z. Yeah, this is supposed to be a W, and hopefully it's fixed on the, yeah. All right. Do you want me to go over how to do this again? Okay. 1, 3, negative 1, 3, negative 1, 1, 4, 1, negative 2, 10, 8, 23. Now we have two options. If you, it says to use inverse. If you did that, you would put this as a 3 by 3. 1, 3, negative 1, 3, negative 1, 1, 4, 1, negative 2. I hope I put those in right. And then in matrix B, you would put a 3 by 1 of 10, 8, and 23. And then on the home screen, you would put the name of matrix A, then hit the matrix key again, times the name of matrix B. I agree. I got 4, 1, negative 3. But remember, the other option, okay, the other option is to put it in as a 3 by 4 and do RREF. I'm not going to know the difference. And 10, arrow down, 8, arrow down, 23. Enter. Home screen. Math. RREF. Matrix A. And I get 10040101001001 negative 3. Same answer. Everybody good? Patrick? Okay. Is this the last question? Okay. Guys, what does this mean? I need you to be able to write this, what it means. 1x plus 4z equals negative 9. Okay, and this means many solutions, right? Okay, you have to make this have only one variable. Use a single variable. So you can't solve this for z and put it down here with an x in it. You need to put everything with only a z in it. So you're going to rewrite this to say x equals negative 9 minus 4z, or negative 4z minus 9. And this is going to say y equals 3 minus 7z, or negative 7z plus 3. I don't care which. But now, do you understand that it only has one variable? We replaced x and y with something in terms of z. Okay. Review packet 2. There's only a few problems, and you have 12 minutes to ask me questions. There's a lot of problems. What do you want me to do? Number 3. I'm looking at packet 2. Are you on packet 1? I thought we already did all of packet 1. Number 3D, you put in a 3 into this equation, and you put in a 5 into this equation, and then you find the slope between those points, average rate of change. Better? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's copies up here by the purple planter. Andrew? On the one we were just looking at? In that stack right there under your, yep, somewhere. I don't think it's going to be a big deal on that one. Okay. I'd kind of rather you just use the word two if you weren't going to write it. Guys, second packet. Do you remember distance formula? Do you remember midpoint? Distance is change in x squared plus change in y squared and square rooted. Change in means you subtract, and you subtract the y's. Nope. Okay. Seriously, you don't remember midpoint? Average the x's, average the y's. What else? Has anyone looked at packet 2 and got a question? This one has logs. After you've condensed on the left, yes, you can drop. I don't know, is that 140? Okay. Ew. Domain is all real numbers, yes. Log graph looks like this, so domain is only... Because it's the inverse of this, right? So the range of this was 0 to infinity, so that's the domain of this. It didn't matter, they had different bases. The graph is roughly the same. What else? Yes. Okay, guys. Domain is all real numbers except the denominator cannot equal 0, and whatever's under the radical must be greater than or equal to 0. So here it's all real numbers except x can't be -3. Here it's all real numbers except x cannot be -5 or 5. And here 5 minus x must be greater than or equal to 0. Somebody's going to do this backwards. If you subtract the 5 over and you divide by the -1, you get less than or equal to because you had to reverse it. If you add the x over to the other side, does everyone understand that 5 is bigger than x means that x is smaller than 5, right? So the interval would be something like this. How are we going to do this one? Yeah, you can do find the slope and point slope, or remember you can put it in and do the line of regression. You're going to be a cheater. What else? Yes? No? Do you know how to remember how to do this? Okay. Graph a piecewise function. Okay. X squared minus 5, you could find a whole bunch of points on your calculator, right? It would look like this-ish. Okay. That's x squared minus 5, but I only want which of those points? The ones that go from -3 to +2. So I think I did this right, but if you looked at a table, I think you would have gotten these values here. What's wrong? This one didn't have an or equal to, right? So this should be an open circle here. All right, so there's that piece. This graph starts down at -3 and it's going up 1 and over 1, right? So it looks like this. But I only want the values starting at 2. Well, what happens at 2? It's actually, yeah, at that same spot, and then it's going up 1 and over 1. Just remember to erase, though, or whatever you need to do so that you get because this one was continuous. Remember, we spent a lot of time talking about continuous, discontinuous. It has the same value at 2 in both functions. The one on the, I don't know if that the one on the final does. It could jump. What about properties of logs? Are we good? What about this? What is that? 1, -3? So that would be right 1 and down 3. And you can find the stretch. You could find the stretch by finding the slope or plugging in a point. Like on this one, you'd have to plug in a point. This one, the vertex is right 1 and up 3. And if you picked the point 3, 1 here and plugged it in, you get -1/2. This one should be negative as well, right? Yes. -3, maybe? Left 1 and up 4? Is that what it is? Okay, guys. Again, all the worked out answer keys for all of this stuff is on the Google Classroom. Posted around December 9th or something, if you go back in the stream. Something else? Please don't distribute first on this one. What do you want to do? Divide. Thank you. December 8th is the date they're posted on. Factoring cubics is on there. Not until next week. Square this one. Sign changes. Then one of these times one of these. Anybody tell me this one? Okay. Yeah, guys, there is matching. There's not 1,000 of them. There's like 3 matching questions, okay? But I give you a whole page of choices, and I only ask you to do 3. Guys, look at the key. On the key for this, I wrote out exactly what each one means. Yes. Yep.